Ooh, who's gonna tell her wife kids? Welcome back to Hidden Values, the show where we look at JRPGs and RPGs, both classic, indies, all that, and we review them. Really, we just look at the hidden values or the influences that are possibly embedded in said games. I am your host, Noah Price. I am a young Christian scholar who just loves video games, especially RPGs and JRPGs, like games that take you on a big old journey. But I also found it very important for Christians and also just non-Christians, but specifically Christians, to understand and be aware of said values that could be in the game. But today we are going to be covering the game called Chess. Chess is probably one of my favorite, at the very least, board games, if not games in general. This is a game I grew up with for a long time, and it's one I always went back to and bugged people to play with me for. I'm not somebody who is a grandmaster at chess or knows all the specific chess theory, but I do have a lot of fondness for this game. But I also I want to look into the possible hidden values in this game. Speaking of which, this is a bit uncouth barbarian-like for me to wear this while talking about chess. Let's get a little bit more sophisticated. Ah, yes, much better. Now I'm definitely sophisticated. Oh my gosh. Whoops. Now, I know that some of you might be wondering, Noah, I thought you said that this is a channel about RPGs and JRPGs. Chess is an RPG. Well, I'll have you know, there's a game that is called Chesslocke, and that's what we're covering today. It's literally chess, but with RPG elements. Now, Chesslocke was created by a sole developer named Taylor Hatton, or better known as Loxulus, and he literally just built this game on his free time. Even though I believe that the creator of Chesslocke wasn't trying to push any hidden messages or have any agenda with its game. I truly do believe that he was just creating this just for fun in his free time. That doesn't mean there's some philosophies and just aspects we can't clean out from this game. There's really only one aspect I really want to point out that's specifically with Chesslocke itself, with the chess and RPG mechanics. And then the rest, I just kind of want to, let's tip our toes a little bit into the history and origins and possibly philosophies of chess. Now, Chesslocke follows by the same rule sets as modern-day chess today, and a lot of its aspects are very similar. The RPG mechanics that we actually see in Chesslocke comes in with XP, abilities, leveling up, and just shenanigans. Chesslocke has 50 campaign maps, and each campaign map is set up specifically different. Not every map is going to set up as the traditional way that you'll see in modern-day time, but this is more set up in a certain puzzle or a certain circumstance. And we'll get back to why I personally really love this. Not only that, but there's also a new element that is added to chess, and that's walls. Now, walls are obstacles that basically just get in the way of different units, whether your side or the other side, from moving through. And really, it just adds a new element / challenge to the game. But at the end of each map that you play through the campaign, you're given XP. What's great about this XP is that you actually get to use them to upgrade your units, whether your knights, king, bishop, basically all those specific special type of units that doesn't count pawns. Now, through leveling up, you don't just buff up your units. What you actually do is you use this XP to buy abilities. Now, abilities are basically just special moves that you get to use just to create extra chaos and just get more advantage on your side. Each unit has the possibility of upgrading and buying 3 different abilities, and within those abilities you can actually upgrade those specific abilities to make it so that you can reach a different range and just have it be stronger. And each unit's abilities are quite different and unique to each unit, which makes it a great experience. While I personally found this very fun, I I also kind of was put off at the same time. And that takes me kind of to the main point I want to specifically talk about with Chesslocke. Chesslocke is basically the game where the question was asked, what if I played chess, but I cheated? Because that's basically what you do within this game. When you make your ability in-game, it doesn't count as your specific move. So you actually get to still move. This basically means that as a player, you get extra moves and extra attack that the enemy does not have. Yes, the enemy doesn't actually have abilities. You're the only one who gets the abilities. Now, while I must say the AI in this game is very tough, forcing you to really play well with your abilities, you can't just slack off. It's just the fact that you're the only one who has abilities while your opponent doesn't, it just feels very unfair. Again, this is something we're going to mention a little bit more later, but the thing that really stood out to me and why I personally love chess so much is the fact that it's garnered on so much of skill. It's not a game of chess. You're not rolling some kind of dice in order to factor in the win, but it's all reliant on your skill and knowledge, and even sometimes just adaptability. Unless your game is going for the feeling of feeling like a superpower or a super soldier or something where you're overpowered to the overextent to where it's just way too easy to it's fun, it otherwise just feels unrewarding. Again, I won't say this game does that just because the AI is super tough, a little bit too tough at times, but I do believe that just the element of you having abilities and them not is a little bit off-putting. Back to what I was saying about how each map of the campaign is different. What I do like about it is it does kind of remind me back to the actual original meaning or the original origin of chess. Now chess, or originally known as Chaturanga, which means the four parts, which kind of meant the four different types of units that the Indian army had, originated in ancient India around the 6th century. Or at least that's what we know. Our earliest records are from the 7th century, but legends told of it being originally made in the 6th century. Now the game of chess actually originated with the brother to the king who just recently died, him giving an account as to his death on the battlefield. While this may be a very interesting way to tell a story, especially one of death, it worked quite profoundly, to the point where the game slowly turned into its own game, even though it started on a different board, not even by what we know as the board today, but actually 8x8. One of the most interesting facts about Chaturanga, or at least chess to my knowledge, that I love so much about it, is the idea that it originally started as giving an account for war, or actually as a war simulator. Now this was taken very seriously, and it was looked at as very wise for even at one aspect for knights to know and to be aware of how to play the game of chess. But it wasn't always just considered a war simulator. Just as it was looked at as being very knowledgeable and wise and sophisticated, it actually took the point of shifting towards being very poetic and telling stories and being really dramatic. Now, while today it's very much has changed back away from being very poetic and dramatized and more on the idea of skill and who is more knowledgeable about the game. It's very beautiful to see the change that this game has gone throughout different cultures. Now, chess has just changed a lot simply throughout the decades, even to the point of its origins and where it's crossed and where it's garnered so much attention. It's in different places have been the origins for different games. Like chess has been thought to be the origins for games like shogi. But even looking past that, even just the different pieces within the game that we know today has changed so much. Like the aspect of the queen being so strong, like why is that? Why is the queen so powerful? The piece used to be considered the advisor, and it only could move one piece, kind of similar to what we know the king is today. But more in the time of medieval times, similar to what we knew. Like last episode I talked about King Arthur and that tale, and an aspect I didn't really touch on too much was the idea of courtly love. And that's kind of the aspect that we saw with the Arthurian tale being turned into more poetic and dramatized. And love, we saw that a lot here too with courtly love, to the point of showing your honor and love for the queen and more aspect of that went to that. And also there was a lot of women in power at the time who were leading really well, to the point where putting the queen as this superpower figure just made sense. And ever since, it's just really stuck. And I mean, I'm not gonna say change it back to advisor. Now, other pieces like the elephants being turned into bishops, that made sense for showcasing the power and influence that the church had at one point in time. Now, church influenced kingdoms and also Muslim areas have banned chess in their area. These games were banned for mainly two reasons. The first one was the idea that it was looked at as gambling. Now, not a lot of games were out at the time, and with this one game more influence and more garner to attention, there was a big fear of it being gambling. I personally just found this really funny, mostly because, as I mentioned, I really love this game for its aspect of skill, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people praise it for a game of instead of chance, it's of human free will, and it really showcases that. At least that's what some people say. And for the church to be like, it's gambling, it contradicts a little bit. It's funny. I thought it's hilarious. It's great. I understand their fear though. It makes sense. Now, their second reason as to why they banned chess, and I'm not going to argue it at all, is the idea of they are idols. As you can see with my chessboard, it's kind of hard to believe that this is an idol, but idols were more looked at, and the fear of it was that each piece was very similar to the actual figure or the human figure. So this is why we see in some chessboards they're really chiseled out and look like real life characters. And that's where the fear was really much spread of, oh no, this is going to be idols and we're not going to have this human-made characters in our household. So with those two main reasons in mind, that actually is what pushed chess to being banned. And even in Muslim culture today, it's still banned. Now, there is only one more aspect to chess as a whole that I want to talk about. And it's one that I don't think I really have an answer to, but it is something I want to at least talk about. For me, the problem with chess is that I still struggle with the idea of the individual versus the group. Now, when just simply looking at chess as a war simulator, it's easy to lean on the group. And just simply as a player, you very much move your pieces as with the mindset of the group. Even to the point to where sacrificing pieces is a very common trope in chess. And it's actually what inspired some of the dramatization of chess was with, well, the iconic scene of sacrificing your queen. With all that said, when looking at that compared to war, I struggle with that mindset. Mostly because it does garner on the side of the group. What's the main goal? The main goal is winning the war. But it's winning the war at all costs, even to the point of sacrifice. Now, while this differs in different cultures and different beliefs of really just putting on more value of whether the group or the individual. In America, the individual is pushed up much more than the group and compared to other areas. I mean, this is just key when just still sticking with war. This is, America's motto of no man left behind. It really capitalizes that idea of the individual. And really pushes up the value of human life, where no matter what, we're not sacrificing one person's life. It's not worth it. No matter what, we are saving them. Of course, I'm probably biased because I grew up in America, so I do fall more in line with this individual. I understand the group as well. Without the focus on the group, you can't really win the war. Now, you can influence the individuals with their mindset of their personal wants and beliefs to push them to doing it, but then you're just really pushing the group to win the war. The hard part is simply individuals are kind of selfish. So when push comes to shove, if something gets too hard and it's really just leaning on the individual, it's easy for nothing to get done because the individuals will run away. That's just being real. Individuals are selfish. Humans are selfish. I'm selfish. So without a group following, sometimes it's hard to get stuff done. And that's why it's not so simple as just the individuals and just the group. You don't just garner to one side. You have to do both. It's always a balancing act, and different circumstances takes different amount. I believe the group mentality is really important, and I think it's not bad. It's not necessarily bad. I just don't like the extreme of it. Of course, all extremes of all things are usually bad. They're never actually good. I don't like the extreme of the group mentality, mostly because at times it can be at the sacrifice of human life and the value of human life. As a Christian, human life is one of the top priorities. Of course, following Jesus and proclaiming his word is top priority, but showing love and restoring human life and their value is important. But even when looking at the Bible, like, it's not just individualistic, it's also the group. Both sides are important, both sides are good, but both sides' extremes are very bad. Whether you like playing chess as a battle simulator or as a dramatized to kind of flaunt your drama of, ooh, I'm gonna sacrifice a piece here and here, or whether you're just somebody who likes to have a good time and pushing their skill and pushing their own knowledge and adaptability while playing the game. Chess is still probably one of my favorite board games ever, and I don't think it's ever going to be stopped. Sorry, Monopoly. Sorry, other games. I don't care. Chess is a great game, and I know I'm not alone in this, and I look forward to playing this in the future. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please leave a like down below if it actually brought you some value and enjoyment. And as always, please, in the comments, comment down what game you want me to cover. This is a little bit different approach. I mean, different area for sure. But for sure, let me know. I love to hear what you want me to cover. I have some more great games coming down, and get ready for next episode for sure. Next episode is gonna be a special one. That's all for today. I'm a Christian.